Speaking to PBS NewsHour, U.S. State Department official Brian Hook claimed signatories to the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action (JCPOA), also known as the Iran deal, have to start making their own decisions following criticism against Donald Trump's announcement to pull the U.S. out of the agreement. Mr. Hook argued the U.S. president's decision will stand in the pursuit of a new deal with Iran that will prevent the rogue state developing nuclear weapons. He said, "I think, just speaking for the United States, the president has decided to leave the deal. Other members of the Iran deal are going to have to make their own decision. The president has decided to no longer waive sanctions that were in place during the life of our participation to the JCPOA, so there will be a wind-down period of those sanctions, but we're going to be pressing ahead with the president's goal of having a new deal, and I will get that sorted out. We're in very close consultation already with our European allies." PBS Get Iran deal. U.S. official Hook hit back at the EU for criticizing Trump's decision to leave the deal on Tuesday. Mr. Trump announced he would pull out the Iran deal, despite various attempts by European leaders to convince the U.S. president to rethink his decision. In the lead-up to the announcement, Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson appeared on Fox News, Mr. Trump's favorite station, to make the case for sticking with the landmark agreement, signed during the administration of predecessor Barack Obama. Mr. Johnson added, "The government regrets the decision of U.S. administration to withdraw from the deal and reimpose American sanctions on Iran. We did our best to prevent this outcome. We made the case for keeping the deal at every level. For as long as Iran abides by the agreement, and its compliance has been reported 9 times, Britain will remain a party to the JCPOA. Britain has no intention of walking away. Other members of the Iran deal are going to have to make their own decision." Brian Hook, "We will cooperate with other parties to ensure while Iran continues to restrict its nuclear program, its people will benefit from sanction relief. I urge the U.S. to avoid taking any action which would hinder other parties from continuing to make the agreement work in the interests of our collective national security. I urge Iran to respond to the U.S. decision with restraint and to observe its commitments under the JCPOA. We have always been at one with the U.S. in our profound concern over Iran's missile tests and the disruptive role in the Middle East, particularly in Yemen and Syria. The UK has attempted to counter the destabilizing behavior in the region, and we will continue to do so." Downing Street said Prime Minister Theresa May phoned the U.S. president to stress that the UK will remain firmly committed to the international agreement that he has condemned. The two leaders agreed for their teams to hold discussions on the potential impact of U.S. sanctions on firms doing business in Iran. A spokesman for Mrs. May said, "The Prime Minister reiterated the government's position on the Iran nuclear deal, in noting that we and our European partners remain firmly committed to ensuring the deal is upheld, as the best way of preventing Iran from developing a nuclear weapon." The Prime Minister raised the potential impact of U.S. sanctions on those firms which are currently conducting business in Iran. "They agreed for talks to take place between our teams." Mr. Trump said this week that the 2015 nuclear deal, which allowed for the lifting of sanctions, was not tough enough on Iran.